India and China ties are finally seeing some thawing in the hostility that has been experienced in past 5 years. But guess who is not happy about this? It is Nepal. You might be thinking why. The answer to this is the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, which has resumed through the Lipulekh Pass. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to understand that what makes Nepal unhappy and how India is exactly handling it. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has happened. So as of now, the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has resumed, and you have to remember that Kailash Mansarovar lies in Tibet. So when India and China, the hostility was peaking, this Kailash Mansarovar Yatra was also stopped. Now, in last year, because the trade has resumed, another form of diplomacy, that is pilgrimage diplomacy, that has also unfolded, and Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has resumed. Now, this is the point which will give you into context that what is happening between India and Nepal. Now, when we talk about Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, the route through which Indians would be going to Tibet and towards Kailash Mansarovar, which is very close to Mount Kailash, a sacred peak which is present in Tibetan Autonomous Region. Now, there are multiple routes through it, but the most accessible one is through Lipulekh. Now, when we are talking about it, Lipulekh is considered a disputed region by Nepal, and that is why Nepal issued a statement that we are not happy with the resumption of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, that too via Lipulekh. And India gave a reply to that there are certain issues which are being raised, claims which are being made by Foreign Ministry of Nepal, which are absolutely incorrect, they are baseless, and when we are talking about Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, they don't have any right to speak about it. Now, the question here is, why Nepal is making so much noise? There is a proper answer to this, because there is a proper territorial dispute that has existed not just for years but for decades. So first, let us try to understand that why Kailash Mansarovar is important from the context of India and also China, and then we will move to understand the territorial dispute in detail. Now, when we are talking about Kailash Mansarovar, as you can see in the given map as well, this is Mount Kailash, and then we have Lake Mansarovar present here. Rakshastal is also located very close by. So when we have pilgrims going towards it, the route which you can clearly see passes through Lipulekh Pass. Right? This is the route which is being used. There is a proper motorable road that exists up and until Dharchula in India, but later this road was also made up to Lipulekh. So when we are talking about this whole pilgrimage in front of us, you also have to understand that this is not only culturally important, this is important in terms of strategic location, it has a religious significance, and also from the perspective of connectivity. Now when we talk about Kailash Mansarovar Lake, we have to understand that this is one of the highest freshwater lakes which are present at the height of 4,590 meters, and this is revered not just in Hinduism as the abode of Lord Shiva, but also Buddhism, the Mount Meru symbolism, and then Jainism and Bon traditions as well. Then I talked about religious significance, that one of the sacred pilgrimages for Hindus, annual Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, is organized by Ministry of External Affairs. But apart from that, the strategic location, that it lies very close to the tri-junction of India, Nepal and China. This is also to do with the access, that is through Lipulekh, which is a disputed region. And then when we talk about connectivity and infrastructure, this is a very important factor from there on as well, because India had built a road up and until Lipulekh back in 2019 itself to ensure that better pilgrimage, the travel time should be reduced and everything around it. But the main point that you need to remember here, that it is China that controls the access to this region. That means China has the leverage in the pilgrimage diplomacy that I was talking about. India wants uninterrupted access for pilgrims, but definitely China is not going to stand by that. But we also have to talk about the Nepal factors, which we are going to do now. So this is the place where you get to see geopolitics meeting and encountering faith and a sacred space which is being shaped by strategic competition that is existing around. Now straight up moving to the territorial dispute that exists between India and Nepal. The disputed region, which is said, it is around 372 square kilometer, and if you see in this given map, this is the part that Nepal claims, but as of now this is under direct territorial control of India. The red border that you see, that is border of India, but Nepal says that this region is ours. Now this does not include only Lipulekh, it also includes Kalapani, it also includes Limpiyadhura, which is claimed by Nepal. Now the question is, why is this dispute? How long it has been there? Now this dispute exists because the border that was defined between India and Nepal was through Treaty of Sugauli of 1816, and they said the India-Nepal border will be decided by the Kali river, which is also known by the name Mahakali. So where, let's just say, if Kali is flowing like this will be the defined border, but if someday it changes, this is the definition point of the border. There was no place where treaty specified that what would be the route of the river and what is the river's exact origin. And this is the contention point between India and Pakistan, because India interprets the origin point differently and Nepal interprets the source point differently. That is why they have this overlapping claim which is in front of us. Now let us also break this down as well, that what are the different sources that we are talking about. So if you look from India's end, India says that we have hydrological records that Kali river originates east of Kalapani, and they are saying that British administrative maps are present which clearly show from late 19th century Kalapani has been inside the Indian control, inside the India's border, and that is why India has continuous control since 1962, because as a result we have strong international law advantage as well on this very side. Now what Nepal says? Nepal says that we have pre-1860s map, Treaty of Sugauli, please remember 1816, that, and they are saying based on these maps Limpiyadhura was placed within Nepal, and these claims are also based on British surveys and the treaty wording that we are talking about. Now that is why Nepal argues that the road construction and Lipulekh agreements which are being made, they are happening without consultation, and Nepal does not stand by it. That is why Nepal has been printing maps, printing this claimed territory map on their notes, and many other attempts have been made on their side to bring this cartographic aggression to show their disapproval. And this statement that we started our conversation with is another example of the very same thing in this context. So I hope you are clear with the territorial dispute, that why exactly this has unfolded. Now the problem here is, when we are looking at India and Nepal, we have to remember China here is playing a very different role which we need to keep in mind. And China's presence here, especially when Nepal is looking to diversify partners, and in the time where China is very subtly backing the Nepal's sovereignty narrative, becomes very difficult and raises multiple Indian concerns, because we have a tri-junction proximity near Uttarakhand. Nepal, being our friend over the years, gave us a buffer region, and when Nepal is shifting the strategic balance, this is also a very huge concern for India. But when we look at our historical background, we have roti-beti ties where families have been made, where daughters are married off across, and then food relationship, that is what we are talking about when we say civilizational ties. The border has been open for more than 230 plus years. intermarriage, shared culture, kinship networks. Gurkha soldiers serve in Indian army. 1950s, the friendship treaty was signed. And furthermore, when we look at it, India and Nepal have a synergy which is not limited to just people but also trade, transit. You have to remember Nepal is landlocked. India gives the sea access. India is the largest trading partner Nepal has, and Nepal is also very much dependent when we are talking about the hydropower that India purchases. So the synergy is not just limited culturally, people, but also economically in this end. And that is why this drift that we are seeing, and probably China is causing and facilitating as well, is something that needs to be not just understood but very well addressed in coming times as well. Because when we talk about this matter, we have to understand it is not just about the geopolitics, it is about the history that we have shared with the nation, the geography, and also the nationalism. Because it is the rising nationalism in Nepal which is causing the drift away from India. And as of now, we have to recognize that China's rising footprint is also facilitating, shaping the India-Nepal drift that we are seeing. So as of now, India's approach is in the right direction, but redressal is also very much needed. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. That was all from my side. Now I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Very important type, pattern of the question, and when we are talking about places and news combined in one. Let me know the answer in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.